Every product has a story. When those products tell us that they are 100% recycled, eco-friendly, sustainable, zero waste, we trust that we are engaging with a company that cares about protecting the environment. But are we only getting half the story? What do these terms really mean? How can we know the claims being made are authentic? The answer is simple. We demand the other half of the story. Businesses can no longer scrawl the word recyclable on a product and get away with it. For the first time in the banner industry, the whole truth is on the table. KAVALAN's range of PVC-free banner materials have been scientifically assessed on their environmental impact, and the numbers don't lie. KAVALAN is far greener than PVC banners. Leading testing and analysis company SGS has carried out LCAs in accordance with ISO 14040 and ISO 14044 environmental management standards on 14 KAVALAN materials, using a combination of tests and scientific and supporting product data to accurately quantify a banner's impact on the environment. The results? KAVALAN makes significant eco-savings when compared with their PVC counterparts.
KAVALAN's LCA is a real industry first, and it is really leading the way in sustainable responsibility in this sector. My name is Steve Lister. I'm a global retail sustainability strategist. I'm also named in the top 50 retail technology influencers in 2021 by the Retail Technology Innovation Hub. I'm also the head of sustainability for Popeye UK and Ireland. I'm here to help and support, educate and make positive changes to enable global brands and retailers to make sustainable decisions. A life cycle analysis, or an LCA, very simply measures key factors inside measuring a product. For instance, raw materials, resource extraction production, manufacturing processes, the distribution, logistics and transport of the product, and basically the end of life, disposal, recycling and reuse. LCAs are being used in ever-increasing circles now by different companies, and I think the reason why they're being used more is, again, it's about the data. We all know that sometimes businesses are guilty of making sustainable and eco-friendly claims that don't really paint a true picture. I mean, half-truths, or greenwashing as it's known, is absolutely prevalent everywhere. I think LCAs, or life cycle analysis, can cut down on these sort of misleading statements, because LCAs will give you the facts. It gives you the data. In addition to global warming, KAVALAN's LCA process shows PVC film is having a pretty devastating impact on air pollution, ecosystems, biodiversity, decline, resource scarcity. I think the banner industry has a big responsibility to look at how it uses freshwater consumption, because we know that in the manufacturing of PVC banners, you can use up to 5 times more fresh water in its production than in the manufacturing. The next big phase for sustainability, like I said a few times during this, is about transparency. And this will enable really people to measure, compare against other materials. So when I've been looking at the KAVALAN Eco Calculator, it uses comparisons with everyday items to put particular impacts across what you might say is everyday layman's terms. I could see that the KAVALAN Eco Calculator can really help customers make those crucial decisions about balancing one material off against another. So the Eco Calculator become really the standard in measuring a product against maybe a competitor or against other materials which need to be seen as either an alternative to what a client needs to use. I think KAVALAN are really leading by example by creating this.
Despite years of climate negotiations around the world, the rise of global temperatures is merciless. The rise is at its fastest since the onset of the Industrial Revolution and is conclusively linked to increases in CO2 and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The increase isn't slowing. It can feel like our individual efforts are just a drop in the ocean. But consider this. 10,000 square metres of Butterfly 360 Soft will save the same amount of CO2 emitted during 13 single economy seats from New York to London. Are we prepared for a water crisis? Freshwater demand is already outstripping supply, and under current trends, demand for water will exceed supply by 40% in 2030, just 9 years away. Such shortages of water, combined with an increase in population, will lead to higher mortality rates, especially among poorer nations. It will also lead to more international tension and conflict. Changing to KAVALAN will have an immediate impact on water consumption. If the entire sales of PVC banner equivalent in Europe in 2018 were replaced by Sunlight 300, it could have saved enough fresh water for almost 4 million people for 1 year, not just a drop in the ocean. We're all aware that carcinogens in cigarettes are the primary cause of tobacco-related deaths and lung diseases. But did you know that pollution from fossil fuels and their byproducts, including PVC banners, is significantly more dangerous? This leads to spikes in lung-related diseases and high mortality rates in polluted areas. Just 10,000 square metres of Spiderweb 300 would save the carcinogenic equivalent of 10.4 million packs of cigarettes. That's the equivalent of 552 years of life. There is a silent serial killer. It's already killing millions every year, and it will keep on claiming its victims. PM 2.5 are polluted particles, more than 30 times smaller than the diameter of a human hair. These polluted particles have the ability to penetrate deep into internal organs, especially the lungs, liver, and kidneys. In 2019, these particles were responsible for more than 4 million deaths, according to the WHO. It strikes, often with little or no symptoms, claiming young and old, healthy and unhealthy alike. It doesn't discriminate. With continued increases in global pollution levels, this merciless killer won't stop stealing human lives. Just 10,000 square metres of Sunlight 260 will prevent 30 people suffering fatal illnesses in 1 year. Despite worldwide efforts to reduce the environmental impact of fossil fuels, they still account for 80% of global energy use. With new reserves of fossil fuels being located around the planet and new technologies to extract them, there's no sign they will run out anytime soon. This is bad news for the planet. Just 10,000 square metres of Sunlight light banners will save enough fossil fuel to power a BMW 3 Series on 12 return journeys between London and Paris. We can do better if we do it together. KAVALAN can help get you started. Join us by taking the first step on your green journey today.